Wentz was sacked 9 times. And then here's Dallas Goedert.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a screen pass have 6 different bodies on the opposing team and go untouched for a touchdown.
On the ground, too.
And then it's Hurts. How about this throw to A.J. Brown?
Green, that ball placement's perfect. It's on that back kind of shoulder, hip to A.J. Brown to allow him to shield the defender with his body.
And then under a minute to go in the half, this is where they really put it away. RC, how about these plays by Devontae Smith?
Listen, this is Bama to Bama. Devontae Smith climbing the ladder, slider frame, but he gets up, makes a big catch in traffic, and this is huge. He's progressed every single week this season.
And then they're going to throw it up to him in the back of the end zone. Dan, how about this play to finish the half?
This is when you know your quarterback trusts your receiver. Hey, if I give you a chance once, can you make a play? How about twice?
Yep.
A beautiful job by Devontae Smith controlling his body.
He had 8 catches for 169 yards. Jalen Hurts threw for 340 and 3 touchdowns. And I would argue that there is no organization, no general manager, Howie Roseman, or anyone who had a better day or will this season than the Eagles did yesterday, sacking Carson Wentz, the guy they chose against 9 times in a game that was not nearly as close as the final score would sound, and it doesn't sound close. Rex, there have been a lot of people, and you were one of them, who questioned whether Jalen Hurts had the NFL skill set. Have you changed your mind?
Absolutely. And it also shows that hard work still makes a difference.
Man.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
I'm telling you, this kid, when he came out of college, he never had the passing skills, the accuracy to be an NFL quarterback. He worked on it. But here's the difference. This guy's running skills, he has halfback running skills, and he squats over 600 pounds. Like, he's strong as a horse. You ain't hurting this guy.
He's built that way.
Like, so you got a tailback playing, like, that kind of skill set in a quarterback body. And right now, the one thing about his accuracy, I definitely question when he came out. Man, I tell you what, I'm an absolute believer in this kid.
It's 2 things right now. If you're talking about this team, you're talking about the best football team in the NFC. And if you are having any early MVP conversations that do not include Jalen Hurts, you're actually not having the correct MVP conversation.
That's real.
That's how well this team is playing. That's how well this quarterback is playing. We talked all offseason, what will new additions at the wide receiver positions mean for certain teams? It's been huge for the Philadelphia Eagles, not only because of what A.J. Brown can do and who he is, but what it allows Devontae Smith to do as the number 2 receiver on this team, on a team that can run the football against anybody in the entire league. When you watch the Philadelphia Eagles play from top to bottom, they have everything they need to compete for a championship as long as this is who Jalen Hurts really is.
Yeah, so it's different this year because the one thing that Jalen couldn't do, he's doing. You know, Jalen Hurts last year could not throw the deep ball, and I question, is his arm strong enough? The deep ball he threw yesterday, Devontae Smith, can't be better. This ball is going to be snapped on the 39-yard lines. 1, 2, 3 hitch. Ideally, 44 yards down the field is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Second thing, you can't play this team when they get into empty. Too many pieces. Watch Pascal up top. Devontae from the bottom of the screen. Watching this. RC, avoid and make that defender run underneath. That's a 4-yard shallow cross that goes for 30-plus yards. And then this defensive line, 9 players yesterday for the Philadelphia Eagles had 16 pressures. This is the best defensive line in football right now. I'll give you that. Howie Roseman the general manager for Philadelphia, had a fantastic afternoon yesterday. He was right. I was dead wrong when it came to that position.
Right. Another huge piece when you talk about the back end of this team, already having Darius Slay, right? They go get Bradbury, right? You get him from the New York Giants. You go get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who was a great slot, and you've now moved him to his college position, safety. And so they've maneuvered pieces both defensively and offensively to win now. And we kept saying, what will the quarterback do and who will he be?
Hard to play
and through
against,
3 weeks, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the entire league.
It reminds me of the Josh Allen story in Buffalo. I'm not saying the players are similar, but the development is similar. They brought him along. They let him do the things he could do. They didn't try to force him to do the things he couldn't. And as he developed, the final piece to the puzzle was Stephon Diggs in Buffalo. It's A.J. Brown here in Philadelphia. It is a very similar organizational success.
No, absolutely. Absolutely is. And this team, this organization went all in on their quarterback. So they're like, no, we believe in him. And now you get in, hey, they draft Smith. They traded basically 2 first-round picks for him. And you traded a first-round pick to get Brown. Like, guess what? We're going to give this man weapons. Why? We know we got the quarterback.
I asked Brandon Beane, the general manager of Buffalo, about that, and he said, I couldn't ask Josh to play a certain way unless I put the right people around him to facilitate that. And that's exactly what's happened in Philadelphia.
Right now, the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. I don't think there is any room for debate about it. In the meantime, if you didn't stay up late last night, you missed more than just Dan Orlovsky's redemption. Sunday Night Football. It's Russell Wilson at home against Jimmy G making his first start for the 49ers. Rex, how about this touchdown pass to Brandon Ayuk?
Yeah, it's a good block by Samuel right there. Debo doing a great job of blocking right there.
49ers up 7-0 on a blatant pick play. And then they've got the defensive line. Down goes Russell.
There's San Francisco's defensive line, and then occasional blitz package is diabolical. But I love this from Russ here, kind of telling that offensive line will be okay.
The moment again, Dan Orlovsky, go ahead.
This is the greatest moment of the NFL season so far, Green.
That is Jimmy Garoppolo pulling in Orlovsky, backing out of the end zone. I'm going to call this play the pick 8 because it's a pick 6 and a safety.
That was only 2 feet. Dan put 17 feet in the way.
That's true. But then on the same
give me
play,
a bad mood, RC.
stand by, RC. On the same play, Trent Williams goes down.
This is the biggest play of the game for the San Francisco 49ers. He's the linchpin of that entire offense.
Meanwhile, the score was 7-5 because of the safety. Now it's 10-5, and Russell Wilson, Danny, can still do this.
Granted, you kind of felt it in this moment, a little bit vintage Russell Wilson, really good scramble on third down there. And then I love the fact they've gotten so cute down in the red zone early on this season. Let's just play a little smash mouth football with Melvin Gordon.
Could have given it to Javonte from my DraftKings team, but that's neither here nor there. Broncos, it's 11-10, and now here come the 49ers. Final minute, they've got a chance, and then they don't.
This is beautiful. P.J. Locke chases down the play. Instead of just making the tackle, he goes to make a difference, punches the football out, Denver football, and that's a win for a team that's really struggling offensively, but found a way.
How are they 2-1? I ask on behalf of America. All we talk about are all the things the Broncos don't do, and yet they're 2-1.
Their defense, I mean, that's just the dead honest truth, is again, another team that we talked a little bit too much about the offense offseason. Their defense, they played like absolute dog trash the first 3 weeks. They're 2-1, and they sit at the top of the division that we all thought might be the best division ever.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. Later in that game, a little bit more vintage Russell Wilson, a little bit more comfortable, especially late in that fourth quarter where you saw that 3rd and 7, I believe it was. This scramble right here, 3rd and 7, they haven't got anything on offense going. He scrambles and finds Hinton, and then this scramble on 3rd and 5, he gets 8-9 yards, and then he changes the protection at the line of scrimmage, and he finds Sutton one-on-one. The back shoulder fade ball reminds me a little bit of him and DK Metcalf. Now, that was nice to see for Denver's offense.
Here's the thing. The conversation about Russell Wilson this year, we've had it, you and I, is he historically great? Is he an all-time great?
No.
There isn't any question he's good, though, right? No, that's my point. That's my point. He's good. And so last night, he shows you, and he's starting to show you, that at minimum, he's still good.
No, he's still very good. Here's the difference, though, right? We got into let Russ cook, right? We got into the moon balls, and we thought about Tim Patrick, who's not playing right now, Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, and we thought there was going to be bombs everywhere. But what we saw last night, especially late, like that was like early on Russ. Right. Russ that can get outside the pocket and make plays. Russ that can find ways to be an extension of the offense outside of the playbook. And he almost seemed in the first 2 games that he didn't want to go back to that. That he was competing to be something else. And now you settle into this. Also, I just want you to say this, Greeny. You ask how can they be 2-1? Right. I'm finna tell you. Please. Geno Smith, Davis Mills, and Jimmy Garoppolo. We are not playing a treacherous role quarterback.
And they should have beaten Geno Smith, too. I remember all the turnovers they had inside the 5 week 1. But you're right. So far, the competition, when it steps up in class, we'll see. But the Raiders are winless in that division, and the Chargers look stunningly terrible. What do you think of the Broncos right now and Russell Wilson?
I think they're terrible. They scored 11 points. Greeny, they scored 11 points. All right? So to sit back and say, this is the same Russell Wilson, no, it isn't. And I'll tell you why. It's a way different scheme.
Yeah.
Like the best thing with Russ is pound the football and then let him do his thing. But throwing a deep ball off of play action is the best thing that he does. I don't see that with this offense. They're always in gun. You're taking away the best thing you do is run the football, Denver. All right, offensively, at least it was last year. They're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. I don't get it. And they need to go back to doing what Russ does. Make this Russell Wilson offense, which, by the way, starts with predominantly running the football. And I think now they could be that team. They have the pieces, I think, to do it. But if they continue to run this offense, they're not going to go anywhere.
All right, so that's what happened last night. In the meantime, on these Mondays, I want to make sure that we get in at least a few thoughts on some of the other games we haven't touched on. Dan, how are the Bears 2-1 right now?
Their defense flies around to the football. They don't give up a bunch of big plays, but their offense, run game-wise, can get explosive.
Yeah.
Khalil Herbert is doing a really good job in their zone run game and creating some explosive runs. But their defense gets to the ball, they play hard, they don't give up big plays, and then they're capitalizing on turnovers and takeaways. Roquan Smith takes that interception near the end of the game. That's the game-changing play. Right here, they end up kicking the field goal to win the football game.
Rex, next up, Cincinnati. Did Joe Burrow figure it out yesterday, or was that just the Jets?
Well, I think it's a little combo platter here. Preseason's over. Joe Burrow ends up looking like, all right, this is our guy. You know, this is the guy we thought we were going to have all year. But his preseason's over. He had no work in training camp. I think it's more about the Bengals and Joe Burrow getting back at it. I will say this, though. The Jets, we're throwing way too many passes here. Lead the league in pass attempts with Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
They contribute to this. Sometimes when you run the ball, you help your defense out. I saw that.
And then finally, the Lions. We all love them, RC, but when are they going to win these close games?
I think they're building toward that. You look at this defense, they're not really from a roster standpoint built to close out football games. But that's why you have Aiden Hutchinson. That's why you have people on the outside who are young and talented. And I think they'll grow to that. But when you watch this offense, especially when DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown are healthy and playing, they can do whatever they want offensively. And that's with Jared Goff, a guy who we basically counted out after being traded to Detroit.
All right, and so that is